3 days later, our yard was full of tables. Today, my uncle married Liu Duo and he was overjoyed. She drank and laughed non-stop with the guests. That night, my uncle led Liu Duo into the west room early. Grandpa smiled that Xuan Shan finally had a home. He joked he'd soon hold a grandchild. When sudden shouting erupted in the yard, I rushed to the window. Liu Duo's father was yelling. Grandpa asked what happened. He shouted the mother bear escaped and smashed the pen. Grandpa froze a moment, then roared to wake the village and searched the mountain to catch that bear. He led everyone out the gate, left alone in the yard. I panicked and ran to my room to lock the door. Half asleep, I heard banging on the door and wondered if my family had returned. The banging grew louder and more urgent. I gathered my courage and shouted, asking who was there, but no one replied. I peeked through the window and saw the mother bear at the east room door, pounding it with her paw. My hair stood on end. I covered my mouth to stop myself from screaming. All I could think was, how did the bear come back? The pounding echoed again and again in the yard. I curled up in the corner, praying it would leave. The bear walked to my window and kept looking inside the room. In the moonlight, I clearly saw its eyes. They were sly and aware, as if it sensed someone hiding. Suddenly, it raised a paw and smashed the glass. Terrified, I screamed, Grandpa, Grandma, the bear is going to eat me. But no one heard. Everyone was still on the mountain. The bear stared greedily at me, drool hanging from its mouth. I wanted to run, but my legs went limp. I collapsed, crying and calling Grandpa. Just when I thought I would be eaten, the bear suddenly turned and ran into the night. Still shaking, afraid it would return, I waited until Grandpa and the others finally came back to a yard full of bear tracks. Grandma hugged me tightly, saying I'd been scared half to death. Crying, I told them the bear had crawled in through the window to eat me. Uncle frowned and asked why it hadn't attacked. Grandpa also frowned and said my life must be very hard to take. He pointed at the tiger painting on the wall, saying the bear must have mistaken it for a real tiger and backed off. Then Grandpa said the bear was clever and vengeful and would surely come back, so they had to kill it before claws and fangs grew back. After dinner, Grandpa prepared to search the mountain again. Uncle cursed at Dan Bear for never letting them live in peace. He swore that once they caught it, he'd strip off its skin. For more than 10 days, villagers went up the mountain but found nothing. Winter approached. Afraid of being trapped by heavy snow, no one dared climb the mountain anymore. Only Grandpa still took Uncle and me up. Uncle grumbled they should stop searching. He said the bear had probably run far away and was so skinny it wouldn't survive winter. Grandpa refused, saying they must catch the bear. After we ate, we would climb again. Uncle pouted but followed. Another 3 months passed with no sign of the bear. Uncle said, Father, let's stop. Grandpa still refused, so Uncle snapped that if Grandpa wanted to go, he should go alone. Uncle had to stay with Liu Duo. She was pregnant. My aunt's face flushed red and she shyly touched her belly. Grandpa froze, then grinned with joy. He said it was a great blessing. Grandma smiled, told Liu Duo to rest and avoid chores, and said she cooked chicken soup to nourish mother and child. My aunt said she wasn't that delicate, not some city lady, and that the old hen should keep laying eggs. Grandma still happily helped her into the west room to rest, and told Uncle to take good care of her. Seeing Grandpa still set on catching the bear, Grandma tried to stop him, saying a big snow was coming. She worried he'd be trapped in the mountains. Grandpa said snow made bear tracks clear, then grabbed his long knife and left. Grandma sighed, went to the coop, cut the old hen, and cooked soup for my aunt. By nightfall, Grandpa still wasn't back. Grandma frowned and asked Uncle why his father wasn't home yet. Uncle said he was probably still worried. Grandma decided to go to the village gate to look, stepping out into the falling snow. My aunt quickly told Uncle to go with her, saying Grandma was old and needed support. Uncle nodded, then told me to watch the house and not finish all the chicken. I agreed. He put on a coat and left with Grandma. Only my aunt and I remained. She moved all the chicken from her bowl into mine, smiling and telling me to eat. I swallowed and whispered that Uncle wouldn't allow it. She said it was fine as long as I didn't tell him. So I ate it all, even chewing the bones. My aunt laughed and said she'd go to the storeroom to cover the food, telling me to stay inside. I answered yes and went back to the window. Suddenly, the front gate creaked open. I thought Grandpa had come home, but a dark figure stepped into the yard. It was the mother bear. She was fatter, with sharp claws and long fangs, pacing slowly through the yard. I silently begged that my aunt wouldn't walk out from the storeroom. The bear walked to the west room door, sniffed, then reared up and smashed it open with a paw. The noise startled my aunt. She ran from the storeroom and met the bear's eyes. The bear's gaze was full of killing intent. My aunt's legs gave out. In a flash, the bear pounced and knocked her to the ground. I heard a crack as her neck snapped. She twitched and screamed for help. The bear stared coldly at her, as if savoring the moment. Then it tore open her belly and shoved its snout inside, biting wildly. Her limbs shook, but her eyes stayed wide until they dulled. Soon her stomach was hollow, and the bear even licked the skin from her face. I didn't dare make a sound, only hoped it wouldn't notice me. When the bear realized my aunt was dead, it dragged the remaining body into the storeroom. Snow quickly covered the blood and bite marks in the yard. After that, the bear hid in the storeroom and didn't come out. I prayed silently that my family wouldn't return too soon and meet it. Near dawn, the mother bear finally staggered out, looked around and growled low. Seeing no one in the yard, it left. Around noon, Grandpa and the others came back. I ran out crying, saying the bear had eaten my aunt. I told them her body was in the storeroom. Uncle and several men rushed in and saw blood everywhere and only bones left. Uncle collapsed, wailing that the cursed bear would be killed one day. Grandpa frowned and said the bear was taking revenge and would return that night. He told Grandma to gather the young men to kill it. Grandma nodded and hurried out to call people. Soon our yard was full of villagers, angry and afraid for us. Grandpa told them how cunning the bear was and begged them to help. Then old man Chan Liu stepped forward and said, "The one who tied the bell must untie it. This bear wants something." He was the village fortune teller, famous for reading fate and spirits, so everyone trusted him. Grandpa asked what he meant. Chen didn't answer, only stared at Uncle. Uncle grew uneasy and turned away. After a long silence, Chen said the mother bear had gained a spirit and saw Xuan Shan as her man. To kill her, they had to trick her. He said Xuan Shan must marry the bear and treat her like a human bride. If he refused, she would keep seeking revenge. When she reached 1,000 jin, no one could kill her. Grandpa argued she was too thin for that. I quickly said that last night she looked at least 400 or 500 jin. Uncle's face darkened. He growled that she had eaten his wife and child, and he must skin her alive. Chen sighed that he understood Uncle's anger, but he said the bear was too smart, and if she wasn't satisfied, she'd eat the whole village. He said when he was young, 1,000 jin bears had appeared in these mountains. Legends said such bears all wanted to become human. Some even claimed a bear had turned into a person and lived in our village. Hearing this, Uncle hesitated, then asked if marrying the bear would keep the villagers safe. Chen nodded and told Grandpa to prepare a proper wedding. He said they'd welcome the bride at sunset and kill the bear at sunrise, then told me to help prepare a sedan chair. We would go to the back mountain to fetch her. Grandpa hesitated but followed Chen's plan. He called young men to bring out the wood from the storeroom. They built a huge palanquin needing 16 carriers and covered it with red cloth. Uncle changed into clean clothes. With wedding music playing, the strange procession marched toward the back mountain. Halfway up, Chen told everyone to stop and stay silent. When the sun slipped behind the mountain, I heard rustling. The mother bear appeared from the grass. She was wrapped in red cloth with a red bridal veil, even larger than the night before. The huge bear stunned everyone. Only Chen spoke, telling the bride to get into the sedan. The bear crawled into the palanquin. The young men lifted it with great effort and slowly carried it down. Grandma whispered that it was too eerie, but Grandpa said they had no choice but to trust Chen. He said the bear's evil aura was real. After a long walk, we reached our yard. Chen told them to set the sedan down. The mother bear stepped out and stared at Uncle, as if plotting. Chen kicked the west room door and the bear turned and walked inside. He quickly shut the door, then pulled Uncle aside and warned him. He said, "Whatever you hear tonight, don't open your eyes. If you endure until morning, we can kill the bear." Uncle nodded. Chen finally relaxed. Night fell and villagers went home one by one. Grandpa told Uncle to be careful once more. He said he knew and entered the west room. Grandpa and Grandma still didn't trust it, so they sat outside the door to keep watch. Even at midnight, they hadn't slept, eyes fixed on the door. Suddenly, they heard the mother bear roaring in pain inside. Their faces turned grim. Grandpa shouted through the door asking if Uncle was all right. Uncle answered he was fine. He told Grandpa not to worry. By morning, the bear was dead, leaving only a bloody bearskin on the floor. But Uncle was covered in blood, chewing something that looked like bear meat. Grandma dragged him aside in horror and asked what he was doing. His eyes moved slowly, then he smiled and said he was full. Then he staggered into the yard, his clumsy walk very much like the bear's. He stood there dazed while Grandpa folded the bearskin. Grandpa said it would sell for a good price, and in a few days they'd find Uncle another wife. Grandma nodded and said the nightmare was finally over. Half a month later, Grandpa sold the bearskin and arranged another marriage for Uncle. The new bride was named Shanlin, short but very pretty. Uncle stared at her, almost drooling. Grandma teased him for having no shame, while his eyes shone as he hurried her into the west room. That night, I heard the bride's shrill screams, but they stopped quickly. Next morning, only Uncle came out. Grandma asked where the bride was. Uncle stayed silent. She searched the room but couldn't find her. Panicking, she called Grandpa, saying the bride had run away. Grandpa was stunned, then said they had to search. Villagers joined and looked all day but saw no trace of her. In front of everyone, Uncle acted pitiful, saying she must have despised his disability and fled. Grandma comforted him and promised another wife. Villagers pitied him, but old Chen stood silent in the crowd. Enjoyed the video? Please like and subscribe for more. Thanks.